What's up, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 103. We're back on schedule. I'm one of your co hosts, Jason, and I'm joined, as always, by your other co host this morning. His name is Kitty Sucker
Mm-hmm.
on Zencaster. I didn't look at it ahead of time this time, so that's good. Otherwise, he's known as Travis. Travis, what's going on this morning?
Nothing. That's a song name of a band that I'm into.
Hmm. That's right. You sent that to me. They are outrageous. They are
Yeah,
British or something, right? Or English
yeah,
or
yeah. They're British and they're very British.
yeah, they certainly are. They certainly are. Well, I've got a cup of coffee here with me this morning to wake me up. I put way too much creamer in it. It's very sweet. It's probably more creamer than coffee. I don't know what happened. It'd been a while since I'd made myself a cup of coffee, so I think I forgot how to do it. It's hot and creamy like I like my women. You know what I'm saying?
Which part? Sweet.
Now the hot and creamy part.
How do you make a woman creamy?
I mean, you know, it happens.
Oh, like they're silky smooth.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So anyway, Travis, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together and we discuss all things PlayStation, like news, rumors, new game releases, and much more. We do it all in under 90 minutes, and we post new episodes every Monday on all of the usual podcast services around the world, as well as YouTube, where we also share game streams and gameplay video clips as well. And you can also find us on other social media outlets as well, like Twitter, where we are at the DualSense Pod, as well as Facebook and Instagram, where we post virtual photography from our time in game. And you can also find our blog at the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. We post our episodes there every week as well. And you can also get a look at our nice faces. And so anyway, we're back from vacation. We had a nice little break. We've been out of the loop for a couple of weeks now, so we have a ton of news to share with you all. So without further ado, let's jump right in, because I think it's going to be a long one. Number one, rumors abound that Sony Interactive Entertainment is set to announce several new hardware products, according to insider Tom Henderson. One such product is a PS5 Pro style controller that will feature removable analog sticks and grips, trigger stops, and rear paddle buttons. Buttons included under the analog sticks will allow the user to remove the sticks completely and replace them if necessary. Henderson said he has seen prototype images of the controller from his source. We learned later in the week that Sony will indeed hold a live stream called Find Your Zone on June 28th to reveal 3 new headsets, 2 new gaming monitors built for PS5, and some sort of partnership with popular shooter game Valorant. 2 of the headsets are reported to be wireless with full noise canceling capability on the top end model. Meanwhile, the base model will be a wired headset, so a more basic version. The high end gaming monitor is said to support 4K HDR and 120 frames per second. However, the aforementioned PS5 Pro controller is rumored to not be at this event for some reason. So, what do you think about some new accessories, some more, I guess, high end accessories for our PS5?
High end. Well, the most interesting thing to me is the monitors because like we already have TVs, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like what is the monitor? Is it like kind of, I want to know where the price range falls really. Like if it's cheaper than the TVs but it gives us better, better resolution and better performance, then you think that thing would sell like hotcakes,
Right.
just like a computer monitor. Obviously, I'm definitely in the
Feels like they're going
market.
to be expensive, though.
I would assume I'm definitely in the market for the headset, especially the wireless one. The
Hmm.
issue is that I presume it will connect with a USB or a dongle, and
Yeah.
we have one of those, right? Is there one in the back?
Yeah, there's one on the back and one on the front.
Yeah, it's just irritating to me because I have to use the USB to hook up my sim rig. So it's like I can charge my controller and then I can run the sim rig, but I can't wear my headset. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I understand why there's not that many on there, but if they're going to keep giving us accessories, it kind of seems like you should have more ports as opposed to having to buy one of those things that looks like a harmonica so I can have multiple USBs.
Yeah.
But no, it's cool. I think the controller will be interesting. My first thought was cool. I'll just suck more, but I wonder if having different, trigger thresholds and customizing everything, I wonder if that'll make me better at FPS games. So that's kind of an interesting
Yeah.
experiment that I've never thought about. So I kind of like to see what that's about and see what it costs and all that fun stuff. There's kind of, 'cause I do feel like sometimes I'm like too slow and like it's like the sensitivity's off. So it's like I know I could go in and customize everything. It kind of reminds me of the people that like you watch them play 2K or Madden and they're so good at it that they change the sliders, like custom sliders.
Yeah.
I feel like the controllers at that point, it's like I just don't know enough to go in and fool around with all the settings. So, maybe that will make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I don't know about the pro controller for me. I don't know, like you said, other than FPS games, I don't know how much run I would really get out of that. Like, if that was all I played, if I was someone who just played Call of Duty like year round, like, yeah, I could see that. But do I really need paddles on my controller so
Mhm.
that when I'm playing Red Dead, I can, I don't know, I can sprint at the same time that I'm, I don't know, like, that's how I look at it. And plus, it's probably gonna be like $200 for that. But to your point, I'm definitely in the market for the headset and one of the wireless ones anyway. I don't want a wired headset. Those days are long gone. That's like college days having the
Right.
wired headset, where you have like the fucking 50-foot cord running from your Xbox to your Turtle Beach. Like I'm not doing that anymore. But the one thing that we don't know, and you raise a valid concern about the USB space on the PS5 because I have both of my rear. There's three actually. I have both of my rear ones taken up with a controller, charger, and then my headset cable. So that definitely, is an issue. But one thing we don't know, and I think the PS5 is capable of this, is will these wireless headsets be able to connect via Bluetooth, like directly to the PS5?
Right. I assume that might be an option.
Yeah, so maybe that's the case, and maybe someone like you who has another peripheral plugged in, and another accessory would be fine. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But I'm definitely interested in it. Not that I'm disappointed with the Pulse 3D headset, but I do feel like I want something a little bit more premium, if that makes sense. So especially with how games are really leaning into audio nowadays. The heads or the not the headsets, the monitors sound really cool. There was a time where I thought about before I had you make me a TV stand and I bought a TV, there was a time where I thought about, gaming on a monitor, like getting a new desk and gaming on a monitor, etc. And that still is interesting to me, but at the same time, I feel like it would be really hard to go from like a 50-inch TV to like a 26-inch monitor to play PS5 on. So I don't know if that's for me, but for people who already do this, this sounds really awesome. And the other thing that I wanted to mention that I did not put in the write up here is that these monitors are rumored to support 1440p resolution, which is like a really popular one that currently PS5 does not support for games. And so there's a rumor that when these monitors drop, that PS5 is going to get patched in 1440p support, which I think that they've said was coming at some point in the future. So, because a lot of people believe that the sweet spot for games in terms of graphical performance is like 1440p at 60 frames per second.
Hmm.
So yeah, so we'll see if that's coming, but that seems to be the rumor out there. But yeah, we're getting a new slew of accessories and I guess high end peripherals and whatnot. So that's exciting, and we don't have to wait too much longer. By the time you guys are listening to this, it may already be announced. Number two, publisher Square Enix shared the first trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, which is officially called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It will launch in late 2023 on PS5 exclusively. They also confirmed that the remake series will be a trilogy of games, with the final game's title still not announced. In fact, creative director Tetsuya Nomura revealed that some early development has already begun on the third game. In related Final Fantasy news, Square Enix also announced Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, a remaster of the 2007 PSP title. It will use the same engine as the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it will launch on PS5 and PS4 this winter. And one final note that I didn't include here, but Final Fantasy 16, the new one coming next summer, apparently will only use English, meaning British voice actors for the game to make it feel more medieval. So I know Final Fantasy is definitely not for us but this is big news in the world of Final Fantasy and games. So, do you have any thoughts about Final Fantasy remakes and remasters coming?
It seems like a lot of Final Fantasies
There's a ton.
in a lot of small time. The only
Yeah.
cool thing I thought was the British actors making it seem more medieval. It's kind of funny to
Yeah.
me. But other than that, I mean, come on. I don't like, can you imagine? It's just hard to imagine like they just redid the whole God of War catalog right when the new one came out. It just seems kind of odd to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think one of the biggest things for me, like as someone who's not really not really is not the term. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan, but the fact that they have locked down Final Fantasy VII remake as an exclusive PS5 is a big deal. I don't know if they've confirmed it yet. I can't remember, but if it seems pretty likely that Final Fantasy 16 is going to be an
Hmm.
exclusive as well, at least timed. So it just goes to show this really strong relationship between Square Enix and Sony that exists, especially on the Japanese side for those games. And it still makes me wonder if a Square Enix or a Sony acquisition of Square Enix is still potentially on the in the cards.
It sounds like there's for flirting at least.
They're definitely flirting hardcore with some like heavy petting, and some creaminess. So
Ew.
anyway, so we'll see about that. But again, I we're not really the ones to comment too much on Final Fantasy VII. We understand that it's a big deal, both of these titles being remastered and coming out, but it's just not for us. Number three, this one is definitely for us, Travis. Sony officially announced the Gran Turismo movie will release on August 11th of next year, with Neil Blomkamp in line to direct the film, which will be produced by Sony's Columbia Pictures Studio. The movie is being written by Jason Hall, who previously wrote American Sniper and Thank You for Your Service. Sony also shared a plot description for the movie that reads, quote, based on a true story, the film is the ultimate wish fulfillment tale of a teenage Gran Turismo player whose gaming skills won a series of Nissan competitions to become an actual professional race car driver, end quote. The plot description suggests that the film may be based on the GT Academy contest, which was run by Nissan and Sony between 2008 and 2016 and gave winners a place in Nissan's driver development program. So there you have it. We've got our first official details, and the movie's coming way sooner than I thought it would be. So what do you think about this as our resident GT expert?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's about the only way to do a movie about Gran Turismo is you kind of follow that along.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big deal when it started. Because I remember people at the time sim racing's been a thing for a while, but like that kind of gave some legitimacy to people actually having talent that you could translate it to real life. Some of those guys still race.
Hmm.
There's guys since then who have made the transition from sim to actual real cars. So it's a thing that happens a lot more than you'd expect. It's super weird that the guy that wrote American Sniper is doing this to me.
Yeah.
He's like two military movies. Why is he doing a racing film? That's the thing is this is I know it's a racing film about Gran Turismo, but it feels more like a Disney movie where you're kind of just following somebody along to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you could have went this way, or you could have went like the Speed Racer way, where it was more dramatic, I guess. So I don't really know if there's a
Right.
good answer, but it'll be interesting. By no means am I 100% gonna go watch it like I was with Uncharted, where I was like, I'm gonna watch it no matter what.
Oh,
I'm not fully
okay.
sold on this at all, but we'll see. I'll have to watch a little bit to see.
Interesting. Okay. I figured you would, just on IP recognition alone, that you would be, morbidly curious about it. But
Morbidly curious is fine,
yeah.
but you know,
Well, I really can't wait to see this kid get his head blown off while he's driving a Nissan GTR or whatever they're calling. Because this guy's like you said, he's done these most known for these two military movies, and so can't wait to see that. Like you watch the movie for an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden Timmy gets sniped, from an overpass on a track somewhere.
yeah. And Eric Bana says, "This is my safety."
This is my safety, sir. You know, this is really interesting to me because like you said, we've talked about on the show about like how the fuck do you make a Gran Turismo movie or series or anything, and so I agree with you. I think this is definitely the one of the only avenues that they potentially could have taken, and it reads to me like it's going to be something like The Blind Side, like that movie. It's like they're going to make a movie.
Oh yeah,
They're going
yeah,
to
yeah.
make a movie like that. Is the way like they're going to take that and they're going to mix it with like Days of Thunder or something like that. It's going to be like a Blind Side meets Fast and Furious, not Fast and Furious, but like a racing film. So that's how I kind of
Yeah.
read that. But I mean, that's cool. That's
Mhm,
interesting. I mean, at least it'd be very easy for PlayStation to just say, we have all these action games. Well, let's just make those into shows and movies. God of War,
mhm.
Horizon, etc. And the fact that they are trying to do something with the Gran Turismo IP, which is, in my opinion, significantly more challenging to try to make the jump to movie or to film and TV. So I give them credit for that
Mhm.
at the very least. Number 4, fairly new PlayStation studio Firesprite is relocating to a new office complex that is 20 times larger than its current home in Liverpool, England, weighing in at a whopping 50,000 square feet of space, according to website Video Games Chronicle. We know the studio is working on at least 3 projects: Horizon Call of the Mountain for PSVR 2, the unannounced Twisted Metal reboot, and a AAA narrative driven horror adventure game developed on Unreal Engine 5. Firesprite was founded in 2012 by Graham Ankers as managing director, and in 2013 they helped develop one of the launch titles for the PlayStation 4, an augmented reality game that you might know as The Playroom. Run Sackboy Run followed on mobile devices in 2014 from them. The studio is comprised of former developers from Studio Liverpool, who have been around since it was called Psygnosis, which is most known for creating the Wipeout series. And they have developed games on every PlayStation console since the original system. So, what do you think that this team that is growing exponentially, what do you think about them? I mean, this is huge. I think I didn't include this in here, but they also this 10-year this is a 10-year lease, and it's like it's like the longest or the second longest in Liverpool history. So what do you make of them exploding and Sony apparently trusting them enough to get this big?
I mean, they've made some notable games on a different type of scale, obviously.
Yeah.
I hope I don't need 50,000 square feet for PSVR 2. That's a little bit much.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if you had space that big, you could wander around and not hit anything, but
sure.
it's kind of interesting. Like, why do you need that much space? Like, I feel like you could make a really good video game in like 1,000 square feet. So,
For reference, Sony's UK headquarters is also in England, and it is 60,000 square feet. So only 10,000 more square feet than what this studio is getting.
yeah, so that's kind of strange to me. I don't that's just weird. I don't know. My tinfoil hat immediately is like they must be hiding stuff in there. Like
Mm,
maybe they're stealing their own PS5s to drive up the price, and they're it's the warehouse they keep them in.
mm,
But anyway, yeah, I mean, look, they must see something that we don't necessarily see, or Firesprite has some sort of dirt on Sony. I'm not sure which one, but they've already shown them some trust by giving them Twisted Metal, so we already can kind of see that in the Horizon Mountain VR game. Like
mhm.
they have things that are Sony IPs, so
Right.
you kind of can see there's obviously a trust there for some reason, whatever it is. Or maybe Firesprite is just a studio that said whatever you say we'll do, and Sony's like, cool, perfect. Like and maybe some of these other ones, even though they bought them, they still have some independence. Maybe they're just a really maybe they kind of function solely as a puppet for Sony.
Right.
I don't know, but if Twisted Metal sucks and then this AAA narrative sucks, they're kind of in a weird spot. So
That's fair.
they better figure it out.
Yeah, that's fair. I think you make a really great point in the fact that PlayStation is trusting them with some of their really well known IP and one of their most important IP currently in Horizon. I think that says a lot about what they think about the studio, combined with the fact that they are renting a 50,000 square foot warehouse for them. Essentially, it's such a this is one of the most fascinating studios to me that PlayStation has in the stable, because we don't hear about the other studios growing in this way. You know what I mean? Like, we don't hear about Naughty Dog. Like, oh, Naughty Dog is going from 300 staff to 500 staff. We don't hear that stuff. Now that might be happening, likely is, but the only one consistently that we keep hearing about is Firesprite. They're hiring all these people. They're getting this office space that's 20 times larger, etc. Where their games are getting leaked. We know that they were given the Twisted Metal reboot taken given to them, taken from Lucid, and so on. So they're super interesting to me, and I almost wonder. We know about these three projects, but I almost wonder if there's more than that. Like in pre-production or pre-development. The other thing that I'm curious about when I read stuff like this is they're so big. They're so big. They have so many employees. They have all this space. I still wonder if at some point we're going to get to a place where these studios like Firesprite, Insomniac, Naughty Dog, etc., they start picking up the pace of when games come out. You know what I mean? Because if they have, if they have 150 or 200 people working on each of these three projects, is it really going to take them a full like 4 or 5, 6 year cycle between games to get one out? I wouldn't think so. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we going to see something from Firesprite like every couple of years? Is what I'm saying. So I don't know. That's what makes me most curious when I read stuff like this. Number 5, former Days Gone creative director and writer John Garvin and the former head of PlayStation's visual arts service group, Michael Mumbauer, have joined forces to establish a new studio called Lithos, or Lithos. I'm not sure how you say it. I'm going to say Lithos because it's 2 eyes. They also announced their first project, the first true Web 3.0 AAA game for consoles, PC, and the Hedera network, called Ashfall. The game is somehow tied to blockchain and NFT technology via the Hedera network, which uses a cryptocurrency called HBAR. As for the game itself, Ashfall is said to be an open world single player adventure game that will evolve over time into a multiplayer PvP and PvE cinematic transmedia world. NFTs will be heavily incorporated into the game in multiple ways, according to Mumbauer, the CEO of the newly formed developer, who said, quote, gamers can choose to play the game leveraging the Hedera network where scavenging, discovery, and exclusivity are the focus for a build, sell, and trade experience, end quote. In regards to growing the game to other forms of media, he added, quote, transmedia and the power of connected worlds has always been something I've been extremely passionate about. There's a bit of a misunderstanding, in my opinion, on what blockchain gaming could mean for gamers. I see the blockchain as a railway, and the main station is video games. End quote. So, what do you make of any of this?
Oh, I have no understanding of blockchains. I also
Same,
don't know what a Web 3.0 is. I don't know what Hedera is,
same.
whatever.
Yeah.
It sounds like that there's a game that wants me to use cryptocurrency to basically do microtransactions.
Uh huh.
And it sounds like basically, in a sense, I can mine crypto inside of the game,
I hadn't thought about that, but yeah,
which you would assume they'll take a cut of. So he's created this platform where people will mine money for him. That's assuming crypto doesn't collapse before then.
sure.
All the NFTs are already tanking in a sense. So great idea. Yeah, I mean, I think this whole thing's fucking stupid, but whatever. Like it
Yeah.
just seems like he's just trying to grab money. Like nobody nobody is extremely passionate about transmedia.
Right.
Nobody. Like
Right.
just no. Like you're just saying that. That's not nobody knows what that is. Nobody knew what that was a year ago. So shut the fuck up. Like this is just a thing that they created. Like it's just a joke. Is what it is. He's just trying to like. I think he's just taking a flyer. Like if this thing hits and it's big, he'll be the first one and he'll be in a position to make a lot of money. But when it fails, nobody will remember him. So I think that's more likely.
Yeah. The really sad thing about this is that the concept of the game, which I felt you guys I didn't include it in here, but it's basically a post-apocalyptic, like post-climate change world where there's like this extreme weather and etc. And so it's like a survival open world game. It sounds like, and they released a couple of pictures of concept art for it, and it looks really cool. Like the concept art looks really cool for the game itself. So it seems like there's a neat concept for a game there. But then they take that and they combine it with everything you just said. All the stuff that we hate right now. NFTs, blockchain. What does it even mean? What the fuck is a blockchain? Like, and then I didn't even consider the fact that you can mine bullshit cryptocurrency in the game. And, they said themselves they wanted to be a build, sell, and trade experience. So that sounds like what you just said to me. And then they're going to somehow twist this into transmedia where it goes from games to music to a TV show or a comic. Like they've already said they're going to have a comic book. Like they've got a digital comic book for it either already or it's in development for this game. So there's your first one. Like, I don't know, man. Like, and we're going to talk about it a little bit the metaverse. And I just don't, maybe I'm too old to understand what all this means. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too boomer to understand, blockchain and whatever, but I just don't see the value of it right now. Like, I don't know. Maybe I will one day. Maybe these, but the other thing about it is like, I don't believe that guys like this and these other companies that are trying to go into blockchain and NFT in terms of at least video from the video game world, like I don't believe that they are that much smarter than me that they see something that we can't see. Like if it was something obvious in terms of potential, then you would think somebody like me or you would be able to like read something like this and be like, oh, okay, yeah, we get that. That does sound cool.
Mhm. Well, the issue with blockchain and NFT is they all feel like snake oil salesmen.
Mm,
That's the issue.
mm,
They all feel like they're full of shit and you can't
mm.
trust them. So, like, that's my issue with it.
Right, right. That's fair. Number 6, Travis, we have a metric shit ton of news nuggets. In fact, I mentioned a couple weeks ago about how I got into the 3-letter digits on my notes. Well, this week I'm in the 5-letter bullet points on notes because we're a couple of weeks behind here. So we've got a bunch to get through here, but of course, feel free to jump in. We've got plenty of time here if anything piques your interest. Let's start with the first nugget here, Travis, and by far the most important nugget because, I like to try to put the most important first. That nugget is, of course, that THQ Nordic developer Nine Rock Games revealed that open world cooperative hunting simulation game Way of the Hunter will launch on PS5 on August the 16th. Pre-orders are now open, and your boy has already taken care of it. So, no excuses, Travis. We got to get this cooperative YouTube series off the ground where me and you kill a big old buck.
What else can we murder?
You got deer, you got bears, you got birds, and all kinds of stuff. They said there's like over 50 species or 70 species of animal. So we can have a little
Okay.
hunting cabin, be like Brokeback Mountain.
We could have a hunting cabin. That's interesting.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, hopefully there's a blockchain attached to it.
Oh, fuck off. Although we are supporting the Saudis now because THQ Nordic is owned by Embracer Group. And if you remember, they bought $1 billion worth of Embracer. So, what can you do?
Okay.
What can you do? Next nugget, and significantly less important. PlayStation released a new commercial called Mr. Malcolm to celebrate the global launch of the all-new PlayStation Plus, if you're interested. And it's actually a pretty neat commercial. Lots of references to games in there. It's like the old, PlayStation commercials of days gone where you would have like, somebody dressed up like Nathan Drake and then you would see like Kratos' axe and all that shit. So pretty neat. Following the announcement of an Xbox exclusive title, the rumored Project Overdose, Kojima Productions took to Twitter to share that they will still have a, quote, very good partnership with PlayStation, end quote, after PlayStation fans heavily criticized the Japanese developer. I don't know that was necessary, but people are crazy, so whatever. He's never not going to do business with PlayStation, guys. I mean, it's like a Japanese culture thing, I think. Also, during a Dragon's Dogma 10th anniversary stream last week, Capcom finally announced that a sequel to the 2016 original was in development and is using their proprietary Resident Evil engine. Following the announcement of the sequel, the original game saw its highest player count since its January 2016 launch month on Steam.
What year is it?
Currently,
Yeah.
2022.
Oh. How's that 10 years? The original was in 2016, the 10-year anniversary stream?
I think there must have been something before that then. There must have been something in 2012.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know,
Whatever.
man. Yeah.
Just making sure I was in a coma for 4 years.
That's a good point. I never noticed that, but that's what they called it. That's what they called it. People are very excited about that game. Also, Capcom announced that Resident Evil Village will be getting a third-person mode and new story DLC. They also shadow dropped current gen upgrades for Resident Evils 2, 3, and 7 last week, although the PlayStation Plus collection version of Resident Evil 7 is not eligible for the upgrade, of course. Also, forgotten multiplayer spin-off Resident Evil Reverse will launch on October 28th finally after going dark for quite a while. So a bunch of horror games that you can see in 4K 60 now if you're interested. Activision Blizzard announced that Diablo 4 will launch sometime in 2023 on PS4 and PS5. It will feature cross-play and cross-progression and will support couch co-op. A beta is planned for later this year, and signups are now open on the game's website. Blizzard also announced that Overwatch 2 is launching on October the 4th on PS4 and PS5 as a free-to-play title that will completely replace the original game, meaning that the original game will not be playable as of October the 4th. So prepare for that. Overwatch 2 will feature seasons and battle passes rather than loot boxes from the original game, and a beta is coming on June 28th, with signups currently open on the game's website. So I am very excited for Diablo 4.
Oh, I
But
thought you were gonna
continue.
say Overwatch 2.
No, continue.
Yeah, didn't we dabble with the last one? Didn't we play like a beta or something?
We did. Yeah, that's the only thing. The fact that it's free to play has me morbidly curious, but other than that, that's about the extent of my interest in Overwatch 2. But Diablo 4, extremely excited about that. That looks good.
I remember doing something with Diablo in the past. I don't remember what it was. Remember we played with Jacob for a little bit or
Yeah,
something? I
we
vaguely
did.
remember it. It wasn't terrible. I
Mm-hmm.
remember there was lots of boxes with like green things floating in the air or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did. We played Diablo 3 either on PS3 or PS4 with Jacob a long time ago, probably PS4. But yeah, those are fun games. Also, website Video Games Chronicle reported that the July PlayStation Plus Essential tier games have leaked yet again. This was some late breaking news this morning. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, will be available on both PS5 and PS4. Cinematic horror game The Dark Pictures Man of Medan from developer Supermassive Games, will be available on PS4. And the awesome third-person cooperative looter shooter Arcadegeddon will be on both PS4 and PS5 as well. So, what do you think about the July lineup?
Crash Bandicoot's interesting, but I feel like that they want to get kind of games out like that on the essential tier. It kind of makes sense. Arcadegeddon's fun. I guess it's out of beta now
Yeah, it will be.
because it's been in beta for like 7 months. So
Yeah, yeah. Did you play Crash 4 already?
I don't think so. I think I played
The
the,
collection or whatever?
the collection. Yeah.
Gotcha. I never played the collection, but I might have to do all the above. But Arcadegeddon, guys, don't sleep on it. You have no excuse to not play it now, to not try it. So very excited for people to get to try that. And I think the fact that we had to pay $20 for the beta or whatever, like you said, but I think it's a smart move to go ahead and make it on PlayStation Plus for the month, to try to really boost the player base, because you can play solo, but the fact playing cooperative is much more fun. Next nugget: Elden Ring director Hidetaka Miyazaki told Japanese site 4Gamer that From Software is in the final stages of development on a brand new game. The developer has been working on 3 projects simultaneously since 2016, with the first to release being Elden Ring. So this makes it sound like it could be maybe next year potentially. PlayStation confirmed that they will not be attending Gamescom 2022 this year, which is held in August annually, further adding to the likelihood of a September showcase, which I think is a foregone conclusion. The new PlayStation Plus service launched in the States while we were gone on vacation, and with it came confirmation that the classic PlayStation games are the 60Hz NTSC versions,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big W. And also, I have this later in the notes here, but I'll go ahead and say it. They also have announced this week that they're going to make the 60Hz NTSC versions available in other regions as well. They're working on that because there's been a lot of complaints about the worst versions, PAL versions. Also, Bungie has won a lawsuit against Destiny 2 cheat creator Elite Boss Tech that will force the offender to pay the developer $13.5 million in damages. Wow. A new update this week to Gran Turismo 7 added 3 new cars to the game: the Suzuki V6 Escudo Pikes Peak Special 98, whatever that is, the Suzuki Vision Gran Turismo, and the 1932 Ford Roadster, which sounds cool. The update also added the Watkins Glen International Circuit, which your boy Travis is rock hard about, and updated the in-game menus.
Watkins Glen's a great track. It's a fun track. It should be on every sim. It's not overly complicated, but it's just fun.
It sounds like a golf course.
NASCARs are in there forever, and they have a bunch of other
Hmm.
racing, different leagues that race there. But it's just fun. It's like it's got everything: elevation changes, sharp turns, flat out areas, all that fun stuff.
Cool.
The Pikes Peak special released this week because the Pikes Peak hill climb is this weekend, or it's this week, I should say. I have no
Oh,
idea
okay.
what you do with that car in the game because Pikes Peak is not on the game, and everybody knows the rally courses on Gran Turismo are subpar.
Mm.
The 32 Ford Roadster is pretty dope, so I hope they give us a daily race with. Even if they gave us a daily race with a Pikes Peak car, it'd be a lot of fun. Like, just it's fun when they put the rally cars on asphalt because they're just outrageous. But I kind of hope they go back to making daily race a kind of a random assortment of stuff. So could be fun.
Next nugget, Ubisoft's, here's 2 nuggets in a row for you. Ubisoft's embattled pirate game Skull and Bones has been rated yet again, Travis, this time in both Brazil and also by the American ESRB, which gave it an M rating, confirming that a release is indeed imminent. This new rating also includes a PS5 version of the game, but not PS4, perhaps hinting that it is skipping the last gen altogether. Insider Tom Henderson later reported that Ubisoft will re-reveal the game the week of July 4th, including gameplay and a release date. Wow. What do you think? This is getting way serious now. This is definitely happening.
Maybe they skipped the last gen, so that might explain how they seem to speed up the
Mm,
development.
that's a good point.
I want to say it's going to get like a 63 on Metacritic.
Okay, so what do you think it's going to be a free to play game?
I feel like
Because
it.
it's multiplayer only, as far as we know.
I think it might be because they kind of were forced to make it. So why would you put
Mm,
anything into it? You know what I mean? Like, I
sure.
just I have a hard time imagining it's going to be a full price game. If it is, I don't
Right.
think it will. I just really don't think it's going to do well at this point.
Right. I'm wondering if it's going to like shadow drop, if they're going to like announce it and be like, oh, hey, here it is. It's out.
Hmm.
It's free to play. You can pay $30 and get the gold edition with all this extra shit. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to check it out though. If you want to check it out, we will be pirates together. Next
Yeah,
nugget.
we're going to be butt pirates on that hunting game. So
Might as 100%. Next nugget. Hideo Kojima revealed that he put a game project on hold because it was too similar to Amazon's series called The Boys. It featured a buddy cop detective squad facing off against legendary heroes behind the scenes from the public eye. Sounds kind of neat, actually. Developer Insomniac Games has hired Marvel Cinematic Universe concept artist Davison Carvalho to work on their Spider Man 2 game. Carvalho previously worked on the Doctor Strange, Thor Ragnarok, Captain Marvel, and Captain America Civil War films. Returnal developer Housemarque told VGC that it wants to put canned ideas into its next game. A new IP is still currently in the conceptual phase. They also said that becoming a first-party PlayStation studio has given them runway, to go even wilder than the story of their first game, or with the story for their next game. God, I can't talk.
what is a can? What do you mean canned ideas?
Like the stuff that they cut out of Returnal
Ah,
that they didn't include. They also said they may go back and make Returnal 2 after whatever this game that they're working on. So interesting. Former Kadokawa Games CEO Yoshimi Yasuda, whose studio Dragami Games announced the revival of cult hit action game Lollipop Chainsaw, which I vaguely remember on PS3, although it is unclear if that means a sequel, a remaster, or a remake. Ubisoft said that it plans to reveal the future of the Assassin's Creed franchise at an event in September. Presumably, the small scale spin off codenamed Rift and the massive online multiplayer game codenamed Infinity will be revealed.
sounds like it's already revealed.
True. Amazon listings for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 seem to reveal that the game's beta will begin on or shortly after August the 15th. Let's go. And likewise, Call of Duty is teasing a Terminator crossover for Vanguard and Warzone. Okay. The actor for Mortal Kombat's Johnny Cage has teased that he is recording new material for the fighting game series, perhaps for Mortal Kombat 12. Developer DICE's new general manager, Rebecca Kutaz, told VGC that they have no time to pursue non-Battlefield projects as they are, quote, only focusing on Battlefield 2042. There's no time for anything else, and this is what we want to do. In 3 years, we want to be the first-person shooter powerhouse that DICE deserves to be, and that is what we're going for, end quote. This feels like this is in response to that news story a week or two ago about how they've gone down to a skeleton crew, so which is probably more likely.
Yeah, I mean, she might. I don't know. Doesn't seem likely. Why wait 3 years for that? I mean, nobody's going to remember the game.
Sure. I mean, by the time they get done with the first season of content, the 4 battle passes, it's summer of 2023. I don't know. Also, a planned remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 was canned due to Activision Blizzard's decision to absorb developer Vicarious Visions, RIP. YouTube channel DIY Perks has created the world's first PS5 Slim console that clocks in at less than 2 centimeters wide, which was achieved by offloading the power to an external power brick. It's pretty neat. Polish website XGP reported that third-party retailers are no longer restocking PlayStation Plus membership cards, which had been rumored prior to the revamped launch of the service. And I have this later in the show too, but I'll mention it here. They actually have begun replacing these cards with new PlayStation Store gift cards, like the money denomination cards, and they have added cards that coincide with the amount of money that it costs to get like a year of PlayStation Extra, for instance. So, Also, Summer Game Fest attracted a record 27 million global live streams this year, up 8% from 2021. Former Sonic team head Yuji Naka confirmed in a tweet this week that music legend Michael Jackson did, in fact, compose some of the music for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And I don't know what any of that means.
Um, That's funny that you saw a tweet. I saw a video about this week.
Oh my God.
Michael Jackson and his handler or his music composer confirmed in an interview in like France that they worked on this music because there's a song in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 that sounds eerily like a song that's on the album, one of his albums. I forget. I think it's called Jam.
Wow.
At the end of the video, they said they actually didn't use anything he composed because the way they had to compress the music down for the cartridge, Michael Jackson said it was basically like it wasn't his music anymore, so he wouldn't let him use it.
Oh, wow. That's really neat, actually. Huh. That's so weird, though. Like Sonic and Michael, I don't understand.
I don't know either.
Next nugget, footage from the canceled sequel to video game Scarface: The World Is Yours surfaced online this week if you're interested in checking that out.
Well, he dies at the end of the movie, so what do you mean? Spoiler.
They made a sequel. Yeah. A Destiny YouTuber who imitated Bungie to issue a series of bogus copyright strikes has been sued by the developer for $7.6 million.
Perfect. That's amazing. There's no way he can pay that.
There's no way he can pay that. Oopsie. Publisher Square Enix has once again claimed that they want to dabble in NFTs after previously backtracking on the idea. Now they say they want to create quote-unquote story-focused NFTs and integrate blockchain technology into game development.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. Sony needs to buy them to fucking save them from this horse shit. God. Website GamesIndustry.biz reported that video game industry heavy hitters Sony Interactive Entertainment, Microsoft, Epic Games, Unity, Meta, and NVIDIA, among others, have come together to form the Metaverse Standards Forum, a group dedicated to setting, quote, interoperability standards needed to build the open metaverse, end quote. So this is getting really real, and I fucking hate it, and I don't know what it means, but whatever. Horizon Forbidden West was back at number 1 on the UK physical game sales charts, with 95% of sales on PlayStation 5. Sumo Digital-owned developer Pixel Ant Games is opening a new studio in the Czech Republic, tasked with co-developing AAA IPs, as well as developing its own IP at the same time. World of Tanks and World of Warships developer Wargaming will open 2 new offices in Belgrade, Serbia, and Warsaw, Poland, after the company closed its offices in both Russia and Belarus earlier this year due to the war in Ukraine.
I mean, Poland's right there, so.
Right, not too far away. Website PushSquare reported that The Last of Us Part 1 remake will weigh in at 79 gigabytes, almost double the file size of the PS4 remaster when it launches on PS5 on September the 2nd. PSP game Super Stardust Portable was added to the PlayStation Plus Premium Classics game lineup this week following the global launch of the service. A major story update called Stormfall launched this week for a long-running MMO Star Trek Online. A new update to PS5's Share Factory Studio lets you make memes of your videos called bits. I've already taken advantage of that for a Battlefield clip that I shared on Twitter. The PS5 will now notify you when games on your PlayStation Store wish list are added to PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium. Excuse me.
Can
That's
confirm.
pretty cool. Oh, really?
Yeah, I had WRC on my wish list, so it popped up and told me it was free.
Oh, nice. Cool. The next expansion for Fallout 76, called The Pit, the Brad Pit, is coming in September to PS4. Maritime cooperative roguelite selling game Ship of Fools comes to PS5 sometime later this year. Looks actually pretty neat. I watched the trailer for it. It's cool. Dark fairy tale adventure game Bramble, the Mountain King, will come to PS4 sometime in 2023. Psychological horror title Luto was confirmed to be coming to PS4 and PS5 later this year. Episodic narrative adventure game Arctic Awakening will release on PS4 and PS5 sometime in 2023. System Shock is still on track to release this year on PS4 and PS5, according to a new trailer. The next game in the Ys series has seemingly been teased with new concept art and gameplay details from Japanese publication Weekly Famitsu. Final Fantasy XVI will have AI-controlled party members, and we also learned that the new game will not be open world. F1 2022 will feature a licensed soundtrack for the first time in the history of the series, and mine preloaded today, Travis. So we're almost there.
The cool part about it is if you look at the soundtrack, you've never heard of any of it.
Oh, perfect. It's like FIFA.
Yeah, it's just fucking noise.
Also, JRPG No More Heroes 3. If there's no more heroes, how can there be 3 of them? To your point about Final Fantasy. Was given a Japanese release date of October the 6th on PS4 and PS5. Although that date will probably be close to its Western launch date as well.
That just makes it sound like that they have different months in Japan.
It does, yeah. They're on a different schedule. Magic and sorcery will be introduced into MMO game Conan Exiles with its largest update ever later this year. Developer Expansive Worlds announced open world fishing game, here we go, Call of the Wild, The Angler for PC, although it is sure to make its way to consoles as well because their previous game, Call of the Hunter is what it is on consoles. The game will include online cooperative play, here we go, for up to 12 players. Wow, we can have a fishing tournament.
Yeah, I would just drive my boat into your boat.
Also, the sold-out Firefly edition of The Last of Us Part 1 Remake is going for a cool $450 on eBay, if you're interested. Insider Tom Henderson claimed that EA's Skate 4 and Need for Speed games will be officially revealed sometime in July, so this sounds like we're getting like a big Ubisoft show the first week of July, which is awesome. Ready for that. Or not Ubisoft, but Christ, EA. Gran Turismo has been replaced by Assetto Corsa Competizione at the FIA Motorsport Games. Interesting.
That's kind of a pretty good sized L for Gran Turismo, but Assetto Corsa is a really good sim. It's a little more serious than Gran Turismo, so it actually makes sense to me.
Sure. One of those games is on the new PlayStation Plus Extra. I don't know if it's Competizione, but one of them is.
Yeah, I think it's Competizione.
Also, the Uncharted movie will make its way to Netflix on July 15th. If you've been curious yet skeptical, check it out. French Revolution set action steampunk RPG Still Rising will get a closed beta in August for those who pre-order the game on PS5. Doesn't make sense. It's a single player game getting a closed beta, and you have to pre-order it to get the closed beta. So you already have the people. Like you already have the people.
They're already bought.
Yeah, they're already bought. Like you don't need. I don't understand that shit. PlayStation's recent third-party and VR State of Play stream has been watched more times than any of its E3 conferences, with more than 2.5 million views at the time of writing. Hungarian developer Zen Studios, best known for their pinball simulation games, have announced Darkest Dungeon-style strategic RPG Circus Electrique. It replaces warriors, healers, and the like with circus characters like strong men, fire breathers, clowns, and more. And it looks really interesting. I watched the trailer for it.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. Cool concept. Square Enix will host a 40-minute Star Ocean The Divine Force live stream on June 29th. I don't know what you need 40 minutes to talk about that shit for, but okay. Recently established industry leaker The Snitch has hinted that a God of War Ragnarok State of Play is incoming on Thursday, June 30th. The Snitch has a flawless track record to this point with leaks, and he appears to be someone well connected at PlayStation, so we can pretty much take this one to the bank. So we're going to get new Accessories on Tuesday and God of War on Thursday. What a week. A good show next week.
Doubt it.
Square Enix's action RPG Valkyrie Elysium appears to be on track to release this year after ratings from various classification boards have been found, including the ESRB.
They combined 2 Tom Cruise movies.
That's him. That's him. Also, the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium catalog games will no longer be available to users once they have been removed from the service. So, unlike the Essential tier and PS Plus in the past, where you could just claim them that month and always have them as long as you were enrolled, not the case with the Extra and Premium games. So, if there's a game that you're wanting to play, be sure that you pay attention to when it will be removed from the service. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that new job listings at Ghost of Tsushima developer Sucker Punch may have multiplayer baked into the next game rather than an add-on like the post-launch Legends mode from the original game. This might be another live service of the 12 that we know we're getting, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Sony Interactive Entertainment has reportedly significantly increased PSN server capacity in Brazil in an effort to expand cloud streaming services in the country. And this is in line with what Ryan from the For the Players podcast told us last week, which is that something similar is ongoing in Australia. So it sounds like they're trying to expand their former PlayStation Now service, but their cloud streaming technology so that they can get that service, that feature available in other parts of the world.
Yeah, but I feel like half of those countries are like uncharted.
No pun intended.
Makes it a little difficult. Yeah, it makes it a little difficult.
Yeah. Also, rumors have emerged that Just Cause developer Avalanche Studios' upcoming game is a third-person fantasy roguelike called Ravenbound: Tales of a Vault. Interesting. There are also rumors of a remake or remaster of the original Assassin's Creed game being in the works, after fans noticed a graphical upgrade to scenes from the game's original trailer, which were included in a 15th anniversary video for the franchise on Ubisoft's Twitter.
Who notices that?
Well, apparently someone did, but I went and checked it out and can confirm it definitely looks to be upgraded. So I don't know if they just did that for that video, but I don't know why you would do that. Open world indie horror game Choo Choo Charles may come to PS5 in the future, according to developer 2-Star Games. It definitely sounds like a 2-star game to me.
Yeah.
New rumors suggest the in-development Crash Bandicoot brawler-style multiplayer game currently has 10 playable characters. I don't know about this. Too many brawlers, like you said. Like It's brawler season, I guess. Supply issues have once again allowed the Xbox Series X and S to outsell PlayStation 5 in its home country of Japan for a second week in a row. I don't really think that's too big of a deal.
I mean, that's why Kojima's making games for them.
Well, they sold 3,000 more consoles than PS5 last week. Oh shit, I got to make an Xbox game. Following the release of the new PS Plus service in the rest of the world, 4 games appear to have been removed already from the service with no warning. Evil Genius 2, Y School Heroes, Bustlin' School Life, Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles, and 428 Shibuya Scramble have all been removed.
And people are upset.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, probably no one is. Next nugget. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches over the last couple of weeks: Rainbow Six Extraction, Gran Turismo 7, Call of Duty Vanguard, City Skylines, Fortnite, Path of Exile, No Man's Sky, Dead by Daylight, For Honor, Ollie Ollie World, PUBG, Shadow Warrior 3, Dreams, Rainbow Six Siege, Rocket League, Neverwinter, Riders Republic, Dying Light 2, Elden Ring, Rust, Dauntless, NASCAR 21, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and Dead Cells, which got difficulty options. So if you've been waiting for some fixes or content, you might want to check those out.
We've talked about City Skylines before, but it's on the service now.
It's awesome.
You can do some wild ass shit. So if you are a top tier member, it's worth fucking around on for sure.
It's fucking awesome. It's one of my favorite city building management games.
Well, I just love that you can build this bustling perfect city, and then you can just hit it with a tsunami.
Yes.
Just to see what happens.
Yep. Next nugget. The DigiTimes reported that chip and component shortages have eased slightly and will boost shipments of the PS5 in the second half of this year and into 2023, which lines up with what Sony has told us, that they are significantly ramping up production later this year. Also, No Man's Sky will get a physical version for PS5 on October the 7th. Insider Tom Henderson said that the last he heard from his sources, PSVR 2 is scheduled to launch in the first quarter of next year. Telling you, it's coming. The upcoming Gotham Knights will have the biggest Gotham City ever created in a video game. I would hope so. The last one came out like 8 years ago. Well, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Silent Hill 1 is getting a fan-made remake in Unreal Engine 5 from YouTuber Codeless Games. In related news, Konami is working to revive the video game franchise, according to Christopher Gans, the director behind the 2006 Silent Hill film. Gans has also confirmed that he has written another film for the franchise. So there seems to be some type of working in tandem there on that stuff. Strategy action RPG sequel Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlords will launch on PS4 and PS5 on October 25th. That game looks awesome. It's kind of like Chivalry, but different. Looks fun.
I like the name.
Yeah. Publisher Square Enix has filed a new trademark for something called Unnumbered. The new project in development at Naughty Dog that studio co-president Neil Druckmann recently revealed at the Summer Game Fest has been in development for at least 2 years, according to the LinkedIn profile of Josh Scher, who has worked as a writer and narrative designer on the quote-unquote unannounced project since May of 2020, according to his LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, LinkedIn is helpful.
Also, Final Fantasy XVI producer Naoki Yoshida told website GameSpot that the team is pushing for a mature rating for the game, which would be the first core entry in the series to ever receive an M rating. That's interesting in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft will be patching in 60 frames per second support, improved color grading, handling improvements, and weather modifications to The Crew 2 on PS5 on July 6th. Marvel's Avengers Jane Foster, The Mighty Thor DLC will release on June 28th.
Jane Foster, traitor bitch.
Oh, that's great. Next nugget. Website Gematsu reported that developer Team Ninja announced Three Kingdoms set dark fantasy action game Wo Long Fallen Dynasty for PS4 and PS5, but no release date was given. Seems like a Dark Souls version of Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
Action game sequel Dick Diver 2 will launch physically and digitally on PS4 and PS5 on August 30th. Platformer brawler, here we go. Lego Brawls will launch on PS4 and PS5 on September 2nd.
I hope that on the game when you knock somebody out, they just explode, like all the Lego pieces come apart.
That would be really cool, actually. I agree. Frostpunk publisher 11-Bit Studios and developer Fool's Theory announced Project Vitriol, a narrative-driven RPG, but no release date or platforms were given. A full reveal is planned for later this summer. Action RPG Sword and Fairy, Together Forever, will launch on PS4 and PS5 on August 4th. That's going to be me and you in that hunting game pretty soon. Dungeon RPG successor Labyrinth of Galleria, The Moon Society, will come to PS4 and PS5 in early 2023. Racing game Inertial Drift, Twilight Rivals Edition, will release natively on PS5 sometime later this year. Users who own Inertial Drift for PS4 will have to buy a DLC pack to access the new content. Binding of Isaac prequel The Legend of Bumbo will come to PS5 in June. That can't be right.
Why?
I think it's June 30th. I think I cut the date off. Because June's almost over. Anyway. Digimon Survive will release on PS4 worldwide on July 29th. World War I first-person shooter Isanzo will launch on PS4 and PS5 on September 13th. Atlas announced that Persona 5 Royal is coming natively to PS5. Persona 4 Golden is coming to PS4 after having previously been stranded on Vita and later on PC. And that Persona 3 Portable is also coming to PS4.
I really thought Persona 3 was going to PS3.
Oh, it makes sense, right? It's big news. Big news for the weebs out there getting all the Persona 5 games brought over to the various systems. Also, asymmetrical horror game The Texas Chainsaw Massacre will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime in 2023 from Kentucky-based publisher Gun Interactive. Shout out. Publisher Microids will release the House of the Dead remake Limited Edition, physical edition on PS4 sometime later this year. Publisher Calypso Media announced Commandos 3 HD Remaster for PS4. It will launch sometime in September. Game Mill Entertainment announced Little League World Series Baseball 2022 for PS4 and PS5.
Mm-hmm.
It will launch sometime in August. Bullet Hell first-person shooter Scathe will launch on PS4 and PS5 in early 2023. A PlayStation Store listing for the unannounced strategy RPG Tactics Ogre Reborn has been discovered. I think that was part of the NVIDIA leak. Old school inspired 3D platformer Hell Pie will launch on PS4 and PS5 on July 21st. Farming simulation / bakery management game Lemon Cake will release on PS4 and PS5 in September.
I guess you grow your own shit and bake it.
I think so, yeah. Management game Bunny Park. That sounds like a fucking brothel. Was announced for PS4 and PS5. It is also, maybe you manage a brothel. It is also scheduled to release sometime in September.
You'll have former NBA players ODing in the rooms.
Oh, man.
Like, what do you think that really is? It's just like you have bunnies? Like, it's just such a weird name.
Yeah. I don't know. My coffee's cold. Ugh. All right. Next nugget. Publisher Digerati, I don't know, announced top-down stealth action game Undetected for PS4 and PS5. It will launch in the fourth quarter of this year. Adventure game Siberia: The World Before will release on PS4 and PS5 sometime next year. First-person tragicomic adventure game Backfirewall _ was announced for PS4 and PS5. It is due out later this year, whatever that means. School life strategy RPG Demon School was announced for PS4 and PS5 and is due out sometime in 2023.
Definitely set in America.
Developer Starward Industries released the first gameplay showcase for first-person sci-fi thriller The Invincible. The game has also been delayed and will now release in 2023 for PS5. This game looks super cool. Action RPG Solstice will launch on PS5 sometime in September. Action strategy game at Minecraft Legends was announced for PS4 and PS5. It is due out sometime in 2023. Action RPG Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn has been delayed to 2023 by developer A44 Games. Stealth action crime game Serial Cleaners will launch on PS4 and PS5 on September 22nd. It's where you clean up murder scenes.
I'm morbidly curious.
Yeah, it's a sequel. There's another one already out that's already out. And it's where you clean up murder scenes before the cops arrive and catch you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you a trailer. Publisher Tiny Build will launch Tinykin, a Pikmin-style game on PS4 and PS5 on August 30th. Metroidvania Soulsborne game The Last Faith will launch sometime later this year on PS4 and PS5. First-person action game Bright Memory Infinite is coming to PS5 sometime later this year. First-person time manipulation puzzle game The Entropy Center was announced for PS4 and PS5. It is due out sometime later this year. That looks really cool as well. Reminds me of a game that was on PS3 called Singularity. Noir 1920s shooter Enemy of the State was announced for PS5 and is due out in mid-2024.
That could be pretty cool.
Yeah. Exploration game Snacko has added PS4 and PS5 versions and will be out sometime later this year. Paper Mario inspired RPG, Paper Animal RPG, wow, real original, was announced for PS4 and PS5. It will launch later this summer. Exploration adventure game Time on Frog Island will launch on PS4 and PS5 on July 12th. Cooperative platformer River Tales Stronger Together was announced for PS4 and PS5, but no release date was given. Survival horror game Signalis has added a PS4 version and will launch on October 27th. Construction Simulator will come to PS4 and PS5 on September 20th, featuring 2 open-world maps, cooperative multiplayer for up to 4 players, and more than 70 officially licensed machines from brands like Caterpillar, Case, Bell, and Liber. Wow, can't wait. Open-ended simulation RPG Potion Permit will launch on PS4 and PS5 on September 22nd. Is it Potion Permit or is it Potion Permit? Third-person action, and there is a difference. Third-person action adventure survival horror game Dreadout 2 will come to PS4 and PS5 on July 20th. Roguelike tactical auto battler Despot's Game will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime later this summer. Classics-inspired action RPG Arrowheart will launch on PS4 and PS5 on September the 30th. Action-adventure game Xel, Xel, will release on PS4 and PS5 sometime later this year. Puzzle game spin-off Time Lie, and that's not a typo. Project Steampunk was announced, but no platforms or release date were given. The PS4 version of life simulation game Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town will launch both physically and digitally on July 26th in North America and July 29th in Europe. And I can confirm that Ryan from Australia is rock hard for this. Also, also French developer Asobo Studio announced that sequel A Plague Tale Requiem will launch on PS5 on October the 18th. They also shared 10 minutes of gameplay footage if you're interested. And finally, Travis, Komatsu reported that publisher Sega and Alien Isolation developer Creative Assembly announced multiplayer first-person heist shooter Hyenas for both PS4 and PS5. The game launches in 2023, and alpha test signups are now open on the game's website, and I am very intrigued by that one. Very intrigued. Seems like a somewhat unique concept. And that is all for the news this week, and I'll turn it over to Travis now for our new game releases. Take it away.
On June the 20th, we have Weebin Blocks, Webbin Blocks, something like that. On the 21st, we have Broken Mind. Fall Guys, the free-to-play release. Milky Way Prince, the Vampire Star. That's a lot going on there. Shadowrun Trilogy. The King of Fighters 98 Ultimate Match Final Edition. That's one of the better names we've never seen.
Yeah.
The 22nd, we have Drunken Fist 2 Zombie Hangover. See, that's a good name. We also have Fire Girl Hack and Splash Rescue DX Redo Snooker National Championship or Nation Championship, I should say. Why Pizza and Why Anything. The 23rd, we have Autobahn Police Simulator 3, which, yes, is on my wish list.
Yeah.
Because I thought it would be hilarious.
Yeah, I thought about it too. Like streaming it. God,
yeah.
You should do it if you ever get it.
We also have Blade Runner Enhanced Edition. That's the one where Wesley Snipes just got out of jail for tax evasion.
That's Blade. Not Blade Runner, but okay. That makes it even funnier.
Anyway, fucking Harrison Ford. Okay, so we also have Cyber Engine, Deliver Us the Moon, Escape Game Fort Boyard 2022. I want to say Boyardee. Him and Her Collection, which is an Adam Eve game. NASCAR 21 Ignition, which probably sucks. Most of those do. Sonic Origins, Steve Jackson's Sorcery. Who is Steve Jackson?
I don't know. I'm dead.
Who is Steve Jackson?
I don't know. That title is so funny to me.
Some dude named Steve Jackson just made a game about sorcery. So stupid. Yeah.
Okay.
We should at least know who it is. It's not like it's anything else. Okay. Okay. Al, the Somnium Files, Nirvana Initiative.
That could be AI.
Okay.
I don't know.
Capcom Fighting Collection. Madison in all caps. Pocky and Pocky Reshrined. And that's
Pocky and Rocky.
Oh, I see that now. Anyway, that's the end of the game.
Okay, so let's see here. We got, God, this is really not a good week. Honestly, Fall Guys going free to play might be the biggest thing there. I know people are excited about like Capcom Fighting Collection. I get that. Also, Deliver Us the Moon. Got the next gen, got the PS5 upgrade this week. It is on the PlayStation Plus Extra service, and the upgrade to PS5 is included in that as well. So you can download that on PS5 or PS4, PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, and check that out. Also, why is NASCAR 21 releasing in 2022? Shouldn't it be 2022? I don't know. Those games are always so off to me. All right, Travis. That's all for the new releases. As you said, let's start to wrap the show up here by discussing what we've been playing and anything that we're looking forward to. So what have you been up to?
I've been exploring my catalog on my premium list. So I tried Ride 4. It's very pretty, but it's hard. Like I deleted it. It's just like I don't have the patience for that, and I've never been into motorcycle racing anyway. I just wanted to see what it looked like. So definitely a pretty game. But just the physics seem like they don't make sense to me. I downloaded I Am Bread, but then it looked really hard, so I deleted it. What else did I play? I downloaded Hot Shots Golf, and I got the platinum, and it took me 3 days.
Nice. That a babe.
it's not entirely difficult. You can rewind everything. There's one trophy that's an albatross. You have to get a 2 on a par 5, and you can once you've unlocked all the courses, you can cheese it really hard. Like, you just go to the 15th hole, and the hole is actually a U shape, and you just turn towards the hole. You'll be like 100 yards away. You hit it over the trees onto the green, and then you just put it in.
God.
So it's like a little cheat to get the last trophy. But yeah, that was about it. I started WRC just to see what it looked like. I
Oh,
didn't actually race it,
yeah.
but I started the game a little bit, and from the 2 minutes I played, it actually seems pretty good. I'm not
Okay.
entirely surprised by that. I've heard it's really good. It feels really good.
Is that the newest one?
Yes, and I thought about downloading Competition since it's on there. Might as well.
Sure.
I know it's a little more difficult. I played the original just to set a Corsa, and it was getting through the parts of the game I needed to get through to race the way I wanted to were not interesting to me. Gran
Mm.
Turismo does a better job of making it worth your while to get through all those steps. Competition might be different though. I obviously haven't played it, so I might venture onto that at some point this week. I'll definitely venture on the WRC. We also played a decent amount of Battlefield this week.
Oh, hell yeah.
The new update's definitely better. It feels like Battlefield 4 to me now at this point. I feel like it's on that level.
Mm.
Yeah, there's still some registration things that are weird, like the registrations
Sure.
don't hit right, but it's not like it was when it first came out where like when it first came out I felt like you had to hit a certain spot to even get a register, so we're past that at least.
Right.
But like I said, you feel like that would be like it's an FPS game. The registration should be like that should be the first thing you get right is hit registration. But whatever.
Mm.
The new map is really cool, and the areas play differently. You know, like if you're in the landslide area, you can kind of play that however you want. You can snipe, play close combat, you play assault rifle mid range. You can do whatever you want on C. And some parts of B, you could play that with like your shotgun if you wanted to,
Yeah.
or your small firearms. Like, and then of course, you know, A and F, you can play however you want to. So there's a lot of different ways to play that map depending on where you spawn at. The vehicle, I'm still terrible on the vehicles, but they're still fun. I had a lot more fun with it this last week than I had with it when it came out. So definitely in a better place. But
Yeah.
that's about all I got into.
Yeah. I've played everything. I've played a shit ton because thanks to the new service, downloaded a whole lot. But I'll start with Battlefield. Yeah, we played Battlefield together. We got John back on the game, which is exciting. And I don't know if he sent. Did you see the clip that he sent where he's already destroyed a
Yeah,
helicopter with the tank again?
yeah. Took him 2 games.
Yeah, so he's back. He's back, which is fun. And I really like it, man. It took them 8 months to fix the game, to make it good, I guess. But we're here, and that's exciting. And the new map is the best one on the game, I think. And one thing I haven't done though is I forgot about this, but with this new season, they also reworked one of the maps, but I don't remember which one it was. But remember how they were going to like make them smaller or rework where the points were and stuff
Hmm.
like that? I forgot about that, but I don't remember what map that was. We'll have to check that out maybe and see if that's good too. But yeah, it's a lot better. I really enjoy it. I look forward to playing it. Actually, I don't, I'm not like, oh god, let's see if it's how it is tonight. It's actually good. So I feel like I can recommend it now if you're intrigued by it or if it's on sale, anything like that. But beyond that, I played a shit ton of other stuff this week, mostly just for a little bit on all of this. So I'm just going to kind of run through it. But there is a couple that I want to talk about specifically. So I played a trial for Biomutant. It's not very good, so I deleted it. Then I played the trial for Uncharted Legacy of Thieves PS5 version, and it is very good. It looks great on PS5. It makes me want to play it again, but I don't want to pay $50 for it. I don't think it's worth $50. It's actually on sale now for $30, and I've thought about it, but I feel like pretty soon, sooner rather than later, it's going to be like added to the PlayStation Plus. So I'll probably just do that when that happens. But it's really good, and it just reminded me like how good Naughty Dog is at what they do, and it makes me really excited for the Last of Us remake. although they're just kind of upgrading that visually, but still. And then it makes me even more excited for what they're doing next. It'll be like their first real like PS5 game. Makes me very excited for that. So then I also played the trial for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which I really was digging. You know, it's an FPS, it's a Borderlands game in like a kind of like a medieval fantasy setting. Really cool. Really cool. I'll probably pick that up at some point on a sale and play that. I really enjoyed that. I liked it better than I remember liking the Borderlands games. So there's that. And then, like you, I tried the Ride 4 and MotoGP 2022. One was a trial and one was the game itself. And I hated both of them. I deleted them almost immediately. Like, it's so hard. They're so hard. Maybe I just don't understand how to ride the bike. But F1 2022 is great. And then I was like, okay, this is going to be on the level of that, like serious, like racing, whatever simulation. Fucking hard. Deleted. Then I played a trial for Spellforced 3 Reforced, which you've made fun of on the show before.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know what it was. It was like a strategic, real time combat RPG thing. Very cool. Right up my alley. Extremely cool. So I am going to look for a sale on that. It's on my wish list. So I'll see if that ever gets on a sale. But I played that for like almost the entire 2 hour trial time. It popped up and had to tell me that it was about to end. So probably the best recommendation I can give for that. And then I did play a little bit of The Crew 2. I downloaded that in anticipation of the 60 FPS update that we're getting in a couple of weeks. I want to see what that does, what it looks like on PS5. So just kind of curious about that. I played a game called My Friend is Pedro, which is a really awesome, like John Woo style side scrolling platforming shooter, like bullet time shooter thing. Really cool. Really cool. So plan to play some more of that. I tried Lawn Mowing Simulator, which was there's something weird graphically about that game. Like the textures are really bad on the grass and everything else just about. So I really couldn't do much of that. It was kind of giving me a headache, so deleted that. I played a little bit of the Mafia Definitive Edition.
Mm-hmm.
Had to delete that as well because it's 30 frames per second, and that is brutal. It's like a brutal 30 frames per second. So I couldn't play that, but really wanted to. But unfortunately, it just doesn't run well on PS5. Then I played a demo for The Quarry, which is that cinematic horror game from Supermassive Games, the people who did Until Dawn. Really liked it. It left me wanting to play the game. I just don't want to pay $70 for it. So I'm going to watch for a sale on that, but that was really good. I tried some Destruction All Stars because it's on the well, I already had it, but it's on the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, there's going to be, people playing it. So downloaded that because it's actually gotten a lot better too, kind of like Battlefield since they've updated the game. So I downloaded that, man, still can't get into a game. I waited 3 minutes and it never put me in a match. So that means there's literally nobody playing the game, I guess. Or unless I'm just doing something wrong, but that's a shame. And sooner or later, they're going to make that free to play, I feel like. Then I tried, this is a lot I know, I've tried Demon Souls, PS5 version. I knew I wasn't going to stick with that because I played it on PS3 partially. I just really wanted to see what it looked like and how big of a remake it was. Very significant, very good looking game. And I actually like the combat of that game, but I just can't do those hard Soulsborne like games. Can't do it. And then I tried a little game called Witchwood, which is like a crafting, like open, kind of semi open world adventure, top down not comic book, but like a kind of cartoony looking game. It was neat, but it's just not, I don't know. I wasn't really in the mood for it after I started playing it. So whatever. And then finally, the last thing that I played was South Park: The Stick of Truth, which is fucking phenomenal so far. And I had to talk about it last. It is a game that came out in 2014. It's since gotten a sequel, and there's rumors that it's getting a third game. And it's a South Park like tactical RPG game. And I sent you guys a couple pictures of it, like from the very beginning, where you're like picking your class and stuff like that. And it consistently makes me laugh out loud. And that's hard to do because I hate to laugh. I hate having fun. It's really good. So I'm going to continue to play that. And I'm really surprised by that. I had always heard people talk about how good it was, but as someone who doesn't really watch South Park and as the main thing, as the main negative, I was like, whatever. It's a South Park game. How can it be any good? And so I was like, well, I'll try it. and I ended up really liking it. So yeah, that's all I played this week. That's a ton. A lot of it was just for a little bit, but making use of my new PlayStation Plus and putting it through its paces. So Travis has been too. But yeah, that's all we've been playing this week, and that's all we've got for the show. So we crammed 2 weeks of news into one 90-minute episode, and we're back on track now, back from vacation. But if you guys enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe to get a new show delivered to you every Monday on your podcast feed or on YouTube. And also, if you could be kind enough to rate us or review us, leave us some stars, some thumbs up, some hearts, or maybe leave us a written review, that would be much appreciated in helping us fight the algorithm. Also, if you could share us with a friend, because word of mouth is the most powerful form of advertising. If you think someone may enjoy our show, please send them our way. And don't forget to find us on social media as well, Twitter at the DualSense Pod, where we'd love to hear from you, as well as Instagram, Facebook, and our blog, which is the dualsensepodcast.wordpress.com. If you're curious what we look like, how sexy we are, that's all we've got for the show. You guys take care. Have a great week, and we'll talk at you next time. Bye-bye.